another serving of Nerd Takeout. It's been a bit. We got a lot to talk about, like a lot. So this week it is myself, Josh Carley, and I am with Andrew Green.
Hello, world.
And Neil Porsche.
Hello.
John Michael is not with us because he is
dead
in school studying.
Oh,
what if he really dies before this podcast?
Oh man. Then we'll have to dedicate every episode to his memory. I just don't want to talk about that every time.
That's true.
God, what a selfish bastard to go off and die.
That's true.
I know. Damn it, John Michael.
They would have an excuse to delay our podcast.
Yeah. It was just too much for us to handle emotionally.
True.
All right, so we got a lot to talk about, so we're just going to roll straight into it. All right, so first thing I want to talk about, GTA new Grand Theft Auto 5 trailer. Thoughts?
I thought it was a movie. I really did.
That's the general idea.
I know the news came out earlier, like last week or something like that, and I actually read the Game Informer article that talked about a lot of it. I'm interested to see how they do the whole three protagonists, because I think the best crime stories and stuff like that do show like different people's perspectives on it. Like I feel like those make some of the better movies or better stories. And I feel like Rockstar's DLC for 4, with focusing on different characters and kind of trying to interweave them, works better than a 40-hour,
Well, I feel like in a way it was kind of strange because you have like the character who's obviously from like the more urban settings, and then you have the mob boss, which is stuff that we've seen in GTA, and then you have it's just that crazy guy. But
he's listed.
He's from Red Dead Redemption, I think.
He's like he's the redneck. Is actually
that's what I was. That's
from Red Dead.
Yeah.
So it's like they're taking all that and they're like, let's just put it all together in one big game, and it worked for Resident Evil 6, right?
Well, in this game, they're showing how you can switch between characters whenever you're not in a mission, and like it goes Earth out and like goes back in, and within mission can switch them too. But they haven't talked a lot about their multiplayer yet, and I think that's going to play a bigger part too of like cooperative.
It is, well, and they've been taught. Well, we know that like because in the Max Payne 3 multiplayer, you could like raise your crew and like transfer. And if you did that in Max Payne 3, you could transfer that over to GTA 5.
Yeah, your
that was
social
like
club.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that was the cool name.
I got like 3 levels in a Max Payne 3 and turned it off.
I got like 5 minutes in the Max Payne 3 and turned it off. So
for any of those,
why are these obnoxious words like vertical across my screen right now? Yeah. Anyways,
for any of those 3 characters from previous GTA games, are they all new characters?
They're all new characters, but
the old like Italian guy looks like the one from GTA, like an older version.
Yeah, no,
from
he's
GTA
just supposed
3.
to be an older guy who like kind of somewhat legitimately got some of his money, but now he's kind of crooked too. He just gets bored. Now he's supposed to be bored and go out. But they said they want to introduce maybe some characters from 4, but not any of the main.
But it wouldn't
characters.
be. Yeah, you would not see any main characters.
They said no one from 1, 2, or 3, because those are 3
Vice
maybe the
City.
PS2 games, because they said those were a separate universe, even though they're in the same world. They didn't exactly exist. You know what I mean, like stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know. The game looks interesting. Graphically, they have a little more like plasticky style to the way the characters look that kind of resembles their the art that comes out for the game, and I like it. I feel like they would do a lot.
It is, and a lot of people I was reading on boards like giving them heat, and it's like, but you gotta understand, like a GTA game on this current console cannot look as good as something like, I don't know, Halo,
or even a new PC game. Like
right,
I mean, some of these new PC games. Yeah.
Because I mean, it's especially since the world is as big as they've said it is. But I mean, there was the one picture where they were jumping out of the back of the truck with the mask on their face and the machine guns, and I was just like, dude. I'm uber excited.
Well, the way that trailer goes, you're just like, yes, yes, and it has that hint of not as serious as GTA 4 is. Right. You can see it in the trailer, like they have the fucking like F-18 or whatever the little jet is blowing. Like, it's like it just
like
looks
welcome back
over
to
the top.
GTA.
Yeah, and that's what I want. They said that one of the guys, I forgot which character, starts out next to an airfield, so they want to get you into those
directly into a jet. Awesome.
Yeah,
well, and I was reading the guy saying he's like, we have planes, like, but it's also practical to have planes because the world's so big that you got to get from one point to the other.
I don't know if you read it, but it's like the official like marketing thing they're saying about how big it is now is 3 times the landmass of Red Dead Redemption.
Holy
that is
crap!
Huge.
That was huge. Thing.
Yeah,
that was like Mexico.
Now, granted, you had horses,
right?
Like that you're going in, but like that is really really big. And I wish personally that instead of saying, hey, we're going to make this big city, they would make like smaller cities more dense. But that's still really hard for the way our the tech is now. But I don't know. I mean, every time they impressed me with a GTA game, you're always like, well, they obviously can't do more than this or do more than that. And San Andreas was just like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
like when you played that after Vice City, you were just like, well, shit, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I love them. I mean, I enjoy GTA. I tell you, but like watching them, like I said, hopping out with those machine guns in GTA 4. What was it called? The 4-leaf clover mission.
Yeah, everyone's the best mission in the game.
Like I'm like, if they have anything even half as good,
that's like, and they know. I mean, they got players' feedback on that. They know people love that.
That was so fun, and I just and talking about like kind of like from the comedy angle. I mean, like you said, like you have your kind of your mob boss character, your black guy from I'm assuming he's from the hood.
He's he's supposed to be actually like he's like mixed. He's like Hispanic and black guy.
And then you have.
And did you see what he has with him? He has a dog. Like that dog you saw in the trailer is his, and that plays an integral part in the game.
Sweet.
Well, but then you have the redneck. So it's like even that combination, because they show scenes of them together, is probably going to make for some comical back and forth.
Good at that.
They're great at that.
Yeah. That's what that whole like satirical America thing that they do. They do it really, really, really.
It's like was it for the character Brucey?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was hilarious. Dude. Yeah, and 4 is really good. The only thing that's wrong about 4 is like your character wasn't consistent with the things you were doing in the game, and I feel like that's what
your moral conflictions.
Yeah, and then you're like, well, I really want to get out of this. Let's go rob 12 banks, right? But that's why I feel like in Red Dead they did a better job of keeping him, kind of down that same path because you were kind of being strung along and stuff like that. The game was so good. Yeah, and I feel like having 3 different protagonists, you could kind of give the right people the right type of missions and do the right thing and play off of it really well. And the world just seems interesting to play around in, and I just like to screw around in those worlds. Like it's made me want to go play GTA 4 again, just messing around in it just because of that.
The one thing there was a lot I liked about 4, but I think the things I liked the most was the fact that like, you could let this person live or this person live and play out different ways. Yeah,
Dwayne in Playboy X, you mean?
Yeah. Did anybody let Playboy X live?
I don't remember.
I think
I might have killed him because he was a douche.
But
I'm not gonna lie. Dwayne's whiny shit that he was doing, I was like, I could put a bullet in you too, dude.
But I mean, I like that. But then the thing I didn't like was that you never were above a foot soldier.
Yeah.
And I hope that they do something with that. Because in Vice City, you could.
They are saying this game though isn't about being a mob boss though. Right. Like it's not about because you're not buying property, but there is an economy that's going to have a point now. But they're saying you're not buying, that type of stuff. But I don't know, I'll be interested to see just what they do. And now, full thinking about DLC. They're right at the end of the generation, so they have to at least be thinking about what they're going to do to keep the game afloat. Right. I don't know. I'm excited just for I like at the end of these console cycles because you get like really good games. Like that's when God of War came out. That's when San Andreas came out. That's when Metal Gear Solid 3 came out. When everyone understands the tech and they can just like do cool shit with it. Like that's what I really really like.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you don't have to relearn anything. It's like you understand the system. You've played around with it, and they've made how many games on this now?
Yeah, they've learned a lot. And I'm interested in like how much of the teams from the Max Payne team with just how gunplay works, or what they learned from the Red Dead games, or a lot of the stuff they did there. Which
just even the maturity between Grand Theft Auto 4 and Red Dead Redemption. I mean,
it's the pacing too that I feel like they're going to get right, and they have a golf course actually.
I hope you don't spend as long at the beginning of the game doing all those training missions. Like I felt like in GTA 4, I was doing that for like an hour, man.
See, 4 didn't bother me as much as it did Red Dead Redemption. When you had to like herd the cattle.
Dead redeemed all that in the end. It doesn't even matter. Like everything to me in Red Dead was redeemed, and the DLC I'm still enjoying. That I actually was playing it the other day.
Did you do the
Undead stuff? I haven't finished that. Like that's what I was playing.
Awesome.
Like that right there, I'm playing that going, man, this is awesome. Like this is cool. So I mean, I have faith. Like I said, all their DLC so far has been so good that I feel like they could really do this right.
Right. All right, cool. So if you haven't seen the trailer, go check it out. Let us know what you think about it. And it's a new Grand Theft Auto.
Spring, right?
Yeah, spring.
It's gonna be May. I was so right a year and a half ago.
You're always right.
Yeah, I mean,
Neil,
I did. What was it? People thinking it's coming out in November.
That's because
it's coming out this December, man.
It's supposed to come out, and then Max Payne
No.
and the other games tanked. And
Nope.
The game's coming out. But I mean,
in the end, I was right. You were wrong.
Spring's good, and I like their money sign. Like their 5.
Yeah.
Like I like they do trailers and all that stuff so good. Like you just see it and you're just like, want that. Like they don't have to do anything else. Like they're like those companies though, like Valve or like Blizzard, where they can just release their shit whenever they want to release it, and then that's people are gonna buy it.
I mean, you could show me the logo as it is over. You
I
could
feel like they
show me
did
the
already.
box. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, sold.
But remember those San Andreas commercials or that Vice City commercial? Like when you're just seeing those and you were like,
Vice City, the music in Vice City reminded me of Scarface.
what was the music from this show? I liked it. I didn't know what
It
was.
was Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder. That's
Stevie
what it was.
Wonder.
Yeah. It just
Stevie
fit. How they do that to make it fit so well every time.
All right, so yeah, like I said, go watch it if you haven't. We'll probably post. I don't know if we've posted on the page, but we will. And then let us, like I said, let us know what you think. Let us know if you're excited. Let us know if you're not excited and why. So yeah, all right. So in this podcast, we're going to discuss at length Wreck-It Ralph, and then we're going to discuss at length Skyfall. But before we do that, Halo 4 came out.
Halo 4.
So I have not played it, but Andrew and Neil have. So they're going to back and forth that for a little while. We will not be talking about Call of Duty since none of us have played it, and I don't think any of us intend to in the near future.
It's the same game over
I'm not
and
gonna
over.
lie. I'll probably Redbox that.
I was
game
about to say I will
because
Redbox
I
it.
thoroughly actually enjoyed playing through the single player, almost like a popcorn summer movie. Like a lot of those games, I'll play it. They're like 2-3 hours long, literally. Get through these things.
Well, they have straight up said this single player is less than 8 hours long.
Sweet, and I like that, and they do cool shit. But the last one, Modern Warfare 3 was the only one I didn't finish because I played it. I shot you literally I think I talked about it. You shoot through it 4 or 5
3 helicopters crashed in
you
5
crawl out of
minutes.
helicopter.
In the demo,
Fuck
I
you,
played
man.
the demo.
I stopped saying that
The
word.
demo starts with you climbing out of a crashed helicopter, and it ends with a helicopter crashing. After you Gatling gun a city.
So they're really thinking outside the box.
Yeah. So no, and
I finished World at War, and that was the last one that I have been able to finish.
well, but I mean, it's they're usually pretty neat. Like the gameplay is so fine tuned now that I feel like it'll probably be fun to go through. Don't give a crap about the multiplayer. I hear they've fixed a couple of things, or the zombie mode's a little bit expanded.
Stupid.
They have a mode where you already have all your loadouts, so you don't have to unlock anything, and you can stream it on YouTube through in their game. That's cool. That's neat. Don't care. Just do not care.
Yeah, we had a tournament in the store for the midnight release at work. And
Congratulations for winning, Andrew.
Oh yeah, totally. And so I was sitting there watching it, and it just
winning at life.
Yeah, thank you, Josh.
Dude, watching that shit, I don't know, it gave me a headache just because it just looks so much like the first Modern Warfare.
So
it was just
excited for this game.
No,
it
dude, it's
kills
the
me
same
inside.
crap over and
I
over.
can't
It was so
even fake
boring.
It, at my retail job, cannot even fake it to because I'm like, dude, you excited? COD Blops too, and I'm like,
I think it's so funny.
COD
Whenever
Blops.
people are like, "This, I'm really disappointed in this new Call of Duty." Why?
And the one last year was so damn good.
Why are you disappointed? I'm kind of like, I thought the trailer. I haven't seen a trailer yet that impressed me for the game, but at least I was like, well, at least they're not recycling Modern Warfare again. They're doing gun to wing.
Yeah,
but
or it's like a crappy Crisis, but but it's still just the art. It just looks boring to me. From what they're trying to do.
Uninspired.
Yeah. Although we got the Care Package edition at work for a pre-order, and it comes in a big tote, like an actual care package, and it has a drone that you can actually fly in it.
That's cool.
It's $180 if you want to go through.
That's not so cool.
Let's talk about a better game. Yeah.
Halo limited edition strategy guide.
We're not talking about Banjo-Kazooie on this podcast.
Oh.
Did y'all get any of those? Because the
What's that?
limited
No, we
edition
haven't got the
Halo
regular.
strategy guide comes with a whiteboard with the maps on them, so you to write your strategies of how you're.
Wow.
It was like
'Cause that
this
helps.
is so. I sold that to 12 parents, being like, "Your kids would love this. They would use this whiteboard every day." Yeah,
Stupid
it was bad.
gimmicks. Jesus.
So Halo 4. Have you played? I mean, where are you with the other Halo games?
I played every single one of them except for Halo Wars. That game.
I played Halo. It was Age of Empires who made that stuff like that.
Yeah,
too.
no, but
it wasn't bad. But it was. I mean, it wasn't.
It wasn't
supposed
Halo.
To be Halo. No.
No.
But it had
I was gonna say I'm really super proud of 343.
Yeah.
The way they handled that. Holy
Game needs
crap!
more Incubus, though.
It is the best. Graphic wise, it's the best looking Halo.
Graphic wise, it's
Which makes sense because it's the newest one. But
to me, I feel like it's the best looking
game
on Xbox.
This right?
Yeah, I honestly, other than something like Uncharted, which is a different type of game running on something where you can like mash these textures on there.
Right.
I feel like when I played that single player, I was just like, holy shit! Like
I literally said that multiple times out loud
really
playing the game
before, like really nothing beforehand, so I didn't really know what to expect.
Right.
One, Master Chief is like talking all the time, which did he talk like that in all other games?
No, not really.
Yeah, and it's like a kind of crappy Solid Snake voice, but I like him and Cortana going back and forth with each other, and just like you're like jumping from stuff, and like the beginning you're like doing all these things. And it still feels like Halo,
right?
But yeah, the graphic,
I don't know what it is about it.
The art style is different. Like it's not as simple. Like the old games didn't look bad, but their geometry and everything were really simple, and these aren't. There's like the lighting and everything makes a big difference, and they sure do show his armor a lot. Like every
they're really proud of that.
Like,
they're really proud. They're like, check out the graphics we did on this armor.
But yeah, so single player seems fun so far.
Yeah, it's good. The pacing is really good. It's not boring.
Have you played with other people single player?
No, I'm just playing by myself.
Did you try out the Spartan Ops?
Okay, since you said episode 1 spoiled the... Okay, I played episode 2. I played episode 2 today. I was like, by following that logic, I'm going to skip episode 1. No, I didn't spoil it.
Okay. But was it fun?
Oh my god, it was awesome.
I hear there were some cool things in it. I heard more than I wanted to.
Dude, like it's like a whole separate game by itself.
That gives me something else to think of. Like once I beat the campaign, I hear the campaign's.
I heard the campaign's short. I think that's why they did the Spartan Ops thing. It's like the campaign was sort of short, which is whatever. It's kind of
getting to
average,
the multiplayer.
Oh god.
I was not prepared to like the multiplayer
no,
as much as
not at all.
Like,
not at all.
It's actually stopping me from playing Borderlands, which I haven't finished.
Right.
By the way, buy Borderlands. That game's pretty good. But the single player is so much faster than the old Halo games, but still has that whole like, oh, I'm getting shot, I can go run because my shields are recharging. Like it's not a hey, I got shot from the floor, hey, I got shot from the ceiling, like you feel like it does every time you play Call of Duty. But like, like it's not just the fact that everybody can run, which makes a difference now. But yeah, it's just the firefight. I don't know, it's just so good. So
I like a couple of new game modes. Like Dominion is really cool. Have you tried that yet?
I played that randomly just to see
really
what
fun.
it was. It's like a I don't know how you explain. Like you have
it's like Conquest on Battlefield, but you actually instead of just capturing it, like you fortify the positions to keep other people from capturing it. And every 30 seconds it drops like power weapons.
And
for
then
you.
once you get all the base or get the majority of bases,
then you have to go around and kill everybody. But once you get all the bases. And they're the last people left. They all get instant overshields. Like they're all
anymore, right?
They can't spawn anymore.
Yeah, the minion was surprisingly fun to me. Like, And how do you feel about the ordinances, which are like our care packages?
Dude, those are so much. Like I'm so addicted to getting those.
I thought that shit was gonna be broken. I thought it was gonna ruin the game.
It's
but
like
the fact that it's random.
Yeah.
And the fact that you have to call them down, the fact that you keep them...
Yeah, like you have to run off, and find a little corner and call them down.
And then you can steal other people's, it takes a little while, but and like, they made the Needler somehow be an awesome gun, but not like completely broken because it's a care package thing. Dude, just the loadout stuff I've really liked. The DMR is completely broken, which is what I use.
Oh, the DMR is on SWAT.
There's really no other weapon you should use in the game but the DMR because
the light rifle is really good because it's super cheap.
But the DMR will still beat that out. Like if you're dude, no DMR, you could like pop someone from anywhere in that map. And it's consistent to me.
Yeah.
The light rifle feels like I never liked their weapons, man. Can you tell me what that grenade does?
Every time I see that shitty grenade, like every time there's a group of people, somebody throws that out.
There's a grenade,
and everybody just kind of stops and we just
throw
stare
it, and it makes this orange ball that just expands.
Right.
Even in the single player, like
I mean, it's cool, but I don't know how to effectively use it. I just throw it out, and everybody just kind of stares at it.
But the new weapons to me are fun. Like there's the gun that shoots the mine. And then you can explode
then
it.
The sticky
feels like GoldenEye to me. Like I love that gun. I will just
set traps for people.
I will set it down. I will run like a little bitch, hide it somewhere, and then wait for someone to come around. And I like the perk system type thing where
the challenges and
I have
stuff?
unlimited run unlocked. Like, no, that's
on the loadouts.
Yeah, on your loadouts. Loadouts in general. Like, I thought that was going to be bad for Halo, but
no. Dude, I unlocked the one that allows you to have two primary weapons. So I have a DMR, and then I switched to my assault rifle.
That would be good since the DMR will run out of bullets so fast if you're getting kills.
And then Promethean Vision. Use that because it's super cheap.
You can see through the walls of Promethean Vision, and it does like a really cool effect when you do it. I found, after messing around with them, the jetpack for me helps because it's not like in Reach where you could fly off, but you can like extend your jumps more. So with unlimited run, the beginning of each map, I can get to that sword or I can get to the thing I need to get to before almost anybody else. Because I've had it so planned out in my head now, exactly where I have to jump and things like that. We play a lot of big team battle.
Dude, that's what I was about to say. Like,
I used to not think that was as much fun.
No, exactly. Like, it was fun in Halo 2, Halo 3, and Halo Reach. I was like, I don't want to do big team. I was like, Team SWAT and zombies or whatever.
Yeah.
But big team battle in this is
the
fun
maps,
as hell.
You know why? Because the maps aren't too big.
Right.
And you can run. So the maps are this right size. It's just chaos of you taking, like, that mech. Which is so
the Transformer.
ridiculous that there's a mech that you can just have a stomping button that you can just stomp on people.
You can teabag with those things
you can
too.
You can teabag with a mech. But no, that I just there's so many things about that.
And the new weapon, oh my god, the Promethean weapons are amazing. The incineration cannon.
When you watch someone actually your body gets incinerated and it just kind of like rips apart.
Kind of dissolve.
Yeah,
dude, the railgun. Have you played?
Awesome.
Oh my god!
Did you notice that? You know how they have the little emblems? If you get 185 splatters, me and Ryan figured this out.
I'm doing splatters right now. I'm getting the green visor. I'm gonna get the green visor and the little man that's in half.
There's an emblem of a man in half with like his spinal cord hanging out. And
I'm doing that.
Holy shit! Yeah, that's.
I've been working on that.
I've been getting splatters with mongooses because I've been like, yep, done. In this game, you can
try with the mongoose.
With the mongoose. Yeah, no,
I hop in the ghost. I destroy people.
Halo is so good. Like I wish I was playing Halo right now. Like that's actually.
I kind of like want to press pause and go home and play Halo.
Yeah. So everyone should buy Halo. Josh should buy Halo.
You gonna buy it for me?
We're gonna kickstart
it.
Yeah, we're gonna kickstart.
We can do Nerd Takeout podcast fund for Josh.
Yeah, but I don't really have anything else to say other than the fact that Halo's awesome.
Halo is awesome. Looks great, feels great, sounds great. Yeah, it's great.
The guns just feel really good.
God.
Like if you go back and play Reach, like
the sound.
Yeah, and people who are complaining about how it's not like go back and play Reach then. Like Reach is still a fun game. Like, but this is something different to me. Like. Right. There is a lot the same. They could have took a little bit more risks, but I feel like keeping their audience. It's at the end of this cycle.
They will be taking more risks with Halo 5. And
this was their first. I mean, remaking Halo. The first Halo was one thing. It's like all right, whatever. But like this was like Halo. This was a monumental.
Yeah, this is how this team was built. Like this is like this was a Microsoft studio.
When it was a monumental burden placed upon them. So like you don't come out the gate just trying like we're going to do everything different. You're like no, we're going to try a few things, but we know why people love the game, and I think that's a. It sounds like a wise.
It gives you a good feel where the direction they're going for the next game.
Did you see the actual iOS app you can download for Halo?
No, I did not.
It's
know
a
there
Doritos
was.
app where you actually have to go into 7-Eleven.
Doritos.
Wait.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You have to scan the barcodes in the back of Doritos to reload and get more ammo for your gun, and it's not even a lie. It's an official app where you scan Mountain Dew and Doritos to reload your gun inside of the app.
That's the thing I hate about Modern Warfare 3. They're like. Go
Doritos.
Drink Mountain Dew and Doritos and get double XP, and that's the only thing I hate about this whole game is that it's 343 did that.
Money. That's why I don't blame. I mean now, like,
I'm sure Mountain Dew and Doritos like funded half of that game.
I was
like
drinking Mountain Dew while I was playing Halo.
God, man,
that kind
like
of bad.
Dude, they should do like get like bottles of Dasani water and get double XP. Like make it more healthy, man. You don't have to get fat. You don't have to get fat and play Halo.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm ever
Sun chips and Dasani like.
I don't know. I feel like that's going to be my multiplayer game for the foreseeable future until.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Actually, that's going to be my only game until what? I don't know.
Yeah, like
GTA 5. I don't know.
Yeah, like that.
What's coming out this spring that I should be like waiting for? Bioshock Infinite, but I didn't play the first two, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a couple of things that pop up. There's still games I want to go back to. Like I never played Sleeping Dogs.
Oh, yeah,
and that game looks neat. It does a different type of open world stuff. It's in Hong Kong, or like games like XCOM or any portable game that I haven't played.
Right.
But yeah, for right now, Halo's.
I think I'm gonna save. I can get like a 3DS XL.
All right, so Wreck-It Ralph came out.
Wreck-It.
Not last weekend, but the weekend before.
Oh yeah.
Has it been? Yeah, I forget because since Skyfall came out,
it was so much better than Bolt.
I don't even think I saw all of Bolt.
You know why? Because Bolt is a complete piece of shit. No offense, dog. But yeah, like that movie was horrible.
I mean, what little bit I saw of it, I was like, nah.
Yeah. So Wreck-It Ralph. What did y'all think about Wreck-It Ralph?
Well, since I like everything, I'm just gonna say I loved it. I thought it was great.
Turbo-tastic.
It was Turbo-tastic. I'm gonna say it was the best. It's the best animated movie that came out this year so far.
People keep saying that.
As opposed
what does that mean? What else came out this year?
Pixar's. I don't know. We put Pixar on a pedestal. I feel like I always have to compare to Pixar's movies.
Oh, that's right. Brave came out.
It was better than Brave, and I like Brave, but it was.
I like Brave too, but it's definitely better. That's what I'm
Brave
saying. I'm comparing to Pixar's
motherly, daughterly movie that it was fun, but like I didn't expect. Spoilers for Brave. I didn't expect any of that bear shit.
A bear scared the shit.
And that was so weird to me. I was like, is that what this movie is about? What?
I think Brave definitely emotionally maybe pulled on me a little more. But I think as just a movie that I would just watch, just to put in and watch, it was
yeah. So Wreck-It Ralph, I went into the movie with zero expectations.
Okay, I think everybody tried. To go in with zero expectations.
I sat next to Neil in the theater, and the whole time he was talking shit for the first half of the movie. He was like, "That's stupid." That's
not what I was saying. I was like, no, I was laughing.
He was just trying to ruin your experience.
I know.
He was laughing inside.
I was probably saying
your
shit or you're not funny.
Yeah. While we're in the middle of this movie, Andrew, let me remind you that you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. But no. I really enjoyed the movie. I think what the movie did right was that a lot of the easy outs you could use when writing about video games they didn't do, and they used smart writing about.
It was the humor was intelligent. I thought it was so smart,
right? Which is weird because I'm sure
about a bunch of dumb video games. It was really smart.
Well, that's what and I think Neil. I think you and I were talking about this. Was like you said, there were several things that they could have done, and so the whole time you're like, is this Disney trying to cash in on an insanely growing industry, or are these people who really enjoy video games and they want to make a movie about it? And there were several things in there that led me to believe that. For instance, I think Kano ripping the guy's heart out
was
what I thought was great. Whenever he was going to the Lost and Found and Snake's exclamation point popped up, I thought
no one's going to know. A lot of people won't even know what that means. That was hilarious.
But everyone who does, I feel really, really loved it. And then, of course, at the end, after the credits, the kill screen. Right. I thought that was just the coup de grace.
Or just the credits in general were also really neat with their 8-bit stuff and things like that. Or some of the main stuff the show was about, the whole glitch thing. I just thought that was cute. The movie, if I just had to sum up the movie, I just thought the movie was very charming, and it continued the whole time to just be very charming. I feel like I could recommend that movie to any family to see, and it's still just it was a fun movie. Yeah. But I do think that the Candy cameos were funnier than the actual video game cameos. For some reason, I don't know, every time I saw a Candy cameo, I thought it was hilarious. There's lots of candy.
Tons of candy. The second half of that movie was very tense.
Have some candy.
That was so weird.
That's the first thing he said when he came out. Have some candy.
And he just kept saying that. That was just moving the game. That was so good.
And now that's something that, so obviously spoilers whenever we talk about this. But
I forgot that.
I really feel so the fact that, animated movies, and I love animated movies. I mean, I'm not, some of them I don't like, but, there are some animated movies I think are great.
We're children at heart, so.
Yeah, but usually they follow a pretty straightforward narrative approach to what's going on. And that's fine. But this movie, and while this movie did have a straightforward narrative, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 kind of deal, this I thought had a really good twist in it. That I just was I didn't expect that.
And what?
Well,
what's the big twist you didn't expect?
Well, I'm just the fact that okay, wait a second. So when you the whole when you see the girl on the side of the machine, and I thought, oh wow, and then you found out that this was she was actually the main person of this game, and this was the Turbo-tastic guy who had come into this game, and I thought that was
very clever because I actually didn't see that coming.
Right, so I thought that was a neat little twist that you don't see,
especially because they were talking about stuff about him going from game to game.
Right, and then at the end of it, how freaking creepy he was, whenever he was. I don't know, but I thought that was a really cool direction that it took. Yeah. A dark direction, but a cool direction.
I liked it, and I felt like the writing was just fun and smart. A lot of the jokes they made were pretty fun. I like Sarah Silverman. I know a lot of people don't, but I like her voice too. And I felt she played the little girl really, really.
I never thought, because to me she has a very recognizable voice, and a lot of times it bothers me, and I didn't think once of her when watching this film. Yeah. I mean, and of course Jane Lynch.
Jesus, she just played the same person. I was like, wait, is that okay? She made the same, some of the same jokes too, and I was like, what?
Dude, but it works. The best part is when they found his crash ship. Victor was like, oh man, he's not here. She was like, oh good. if you were here, I was gonna slap his corpse. Or something.
That was so funny. There were so many funny lines in that movie. I just kept laughing. They were so good.
I mean, yeah, and then I really like the character of the Fix-It Felix.
Oh yeah.
And
like
how he genuinely
sort of.
was like a good guy, you know. And I just the one thing I would have to say maybe I didn't like. I mean, I'm sure we could sit here and nitpick it. Was that
that's what we do best?
And a lot of people. You know, the director did what do they call it on Reddit? Is it called an AMA on Reddit? I'm not sure what they're called.
I don't subscribe or go to
basically,
Reddit.
the guy goes, someone goes on Reddit and then you can ask them questions and then he'll answer them.
Reddit's a Carly thing.
Q&A?
Not this Carly, I don't know. And yeah, essentially it's a Q&A over Reddit. And they ask him this question and he still, like, did not give a straightforward answer to it. But it was, okay, so her whole deal was that she was a glitch, right? Or that they had restructured her, whatever it was, and then like whenever they fixed the game, first of all, I don't understand why. I'm trying to think. So, whenever she goes to the finish line, the game was supposed to reset itself, right? Right. Okay. So why did they not just go to the finish line to begin with? Why do they have this whole like breakdown episode before we're like, oh, we got to pass her to the finish line?
Because they were afraid that the aliens were going to eat her.
Yeah.
It was like the finish line was like surrounded by aliens.
Surrounded by the.
All you had to do was push her through, and then all the aliens would have disappeared. In theory, right?
In theory.
Yeah, but there's like a flood of aliens all over it. I think.
I don't think you understand how scary the aliens were unless you were there, Josh.
Yeah, that might be it.
I don't know if you were
playing
but why? You're playing Halo. You're playing Halo, Josh.
But why did she?
Sugar rush, Josh.
Why did she still have the glitch? Why was she still the glitch after she passed through the thing?
Because she was still a glitch.
But he made her a glitch. And when she went through, it was supposed to fix it.
Because she kept her glitch. Because that's the moral of the story. She was accepting who she was, Josh.
She learned to control.
And like the thing is, like ultimately, it didn't bother me to the point where like I didn't enjoy the movie. But that was really the only thing that stuck out to me was like, and I think his response on Reddit was like, because she's a 9-year-old girl and she's really intense or something. It's like you just walked around that question.
That was my other favorite part is when like she became like the main character and those 3 bitchy girls came up to her at the end.
Yeah.
And what did she say? She said something about like beheading them,
decapitating,
I was like,
executed or something. Yeah. That was.
Can you forgive us? I guess so, but you're gonna get like decapitated or something.
It was like this world just got a little more interesting.
Yeah, it was so good,
funny.
And then I always knew going into it, like watching, or I assumed, I didn't know this for sure, but I assumed going into it that like, you know, you have the posters with the Wreck-It Ralph characters, then you have the posters with like M. Bison on it and all that stuff, and I'm like, you know, I bet a lot of money that they will not be crucial characters to this film,
right?
And they weren't, but
they were ticket sellers.
I know why they did it because that's why a lot of people went and saw it.
Yeah,
but I wish I wouldn't have seen any of the trailers just because. All the cameos that are in the trailers are all the cameos you see, and I just felt like that was a little lame for me.
Right.
But I mean that's how marketing works.
I think that was probably the biggest complaint I heard is that he didn't do enough like game jumping.
See, but I'm glad it wasn't just like, hey, remember this? Or look at this cameo.
Yeah, it would just be like a mindless. The whole movie would be filled like there would be no plot to it. It'd be a mindless. Hey, remember that game? Remember that game?
Deciding to just go get
It needed a B story. It was just,
and I think the thing is like with the story. With the story of the film, I don't think that those cameos would have fit. Right. I think that they served the purpose that they served, and then Sonic's.
Sonic's like this deity that everybody looks up to. He didn't even have to be in the game role. He's just kind of there. He's like a spokesperson. Like, stay safe out there, guys.
Prototype douche that Sonic always.
That's pretty.
And actually, Andrew has a main complaint that he's not shared on the podcast yet about the movie. What was your first complaint from the very beginning of the movie? You were like, if this movie doesn't have this...
Oh my god, you were so right. I totally forgot.
I don't know.
There wasn't a Galaga ship that showed up in the freaking movie, dude. Like, I was hoping he would just hop in a Galaga ship.
This was supposed to be about all the good arcade games.
Oh, so don't even, man. Don't even. I totally forgot about that. I was so blown away by how awesome the movie was, I forgot about my movie.
It must not have bothered you that much if you were able to forget it.
It didn't, because the movie was so good.
I guess the game's kind of forgettable, so really the whole, not having a cameo. I mean, seriously, what would have been the cameo? A Galaga ship?
Yes!
Is that really
I don't know. Are like 2 Galaga ships together and someone would come out, double ship, bitch!
Or like one of the aliens being in the meeting there, or...
Yeah, but nobody would have recognized it, though. That's the thing.
Even the thing they did with...
It's just too cool of a game.
Jane Lynch, whatever she was in. The light gun game.
Right.
Even that was done right as terms of that is basically what those stupid light gun games are.
Right.
And they have like the little screen and someone talking to you and it moving. I was
Right,
like,
right.
that was really cool because they didn't have to do any of that.
Right.
And I just thought that was really neat. Or like the whole surge protectors being like the subway, how people go from game to game. I was like, that's really
Smart.
neat, guys. Like this is really cool. Like what y'all are doing.
One of the things I really liked was in his game, was in Fix It Felix, how like all of the characters besides Wreck-It Ralph and Fix It Felix, it was like they skipped frames whenever they moved. But I mean, those two had fluid movements. But just like the little things like that.
That was awesome.
I thought that's that insane attention to detail.
Also, putting Skrillex inside of the first-person shooting game that just makes a mockery of like all.
Now,
so
okay,
good.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that was amazing.
Because you're a big Skrillex fan.
Are we all? Are we all?
Is that how you say that, Skrillex?
On the inside?
I believe so. That's how I've always said
Skittles?
Can we call Matt and ask?
Well, usually I say Skrillex in conjunction with techno, and then people get mad at me.
It's
so
house, right? Or is it?
I don't know. It's dubstep.
I thought house was techno.
I think it's dubstep.
It is.
It has the whoa, 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 whoa in the background.
And it had a lot of whoop whoop right there, too.
The thing that maybe another thing I didn't really care for was I really liked a lot of the soundtrack, but then there's a lot of the soundtrack I didn't really like Rihanna and Al City.
Song.
Like get
But
out.
they had there's like a huge crappy looks like clones Japanese band called AKB48 of like 48 girls. They're not children. They're like 17 and 18 though. And that was who did the Sugar Rush
47
song,
too many.
which was like that was like a big thing for them too because it fit that like
Oh, that was fine, but I'm just like, here's like this
Owl
pop
City was
radio
great.
song. I'm like, it doesn't, and I get
What
why
does Skrillex fit?
Unfortunately, it probably fit more than Rihanna did, right?
I bet you that same song could fit in this Black Ops 2 trailer and everyone would be like, yep.
You mean
They could have played the
Robert
Galaga
Downey
theme
Jr.?
song.
I forgot they redid that commercial again.
With
They already
Ronnie-
did that
with
commercial
Robert
like
Downey
2 years
Jr..
ago. Yeah, but overall, Wreck-It Ralph, though, I really enjoyed it. I was impressed. I mean, especially for that studio, because they didn't really do things. I think did they do Tangled?
Disney Studios did it, yeah.
Was it? Yeah. And it didn't have...
I mean, I don't know if it's the same team of... It's
Right.
Disney Studios, so I don't know
It's the same team.
I don't know who
I think this
working
was the
on it.
Bolt team, though. I feel like I heard that before. These were the same people who did Bolt.
Well, then they
Stepped up their
stepped
game a little bit.
up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They redeemed
And
themselves.
I think I just I
You know
always
how
say,
it
I
did?
thought John C. Reilly did a great job with the voice of Wreck-It Ralph.
Do you know how it did? Like Wreck-It Ralph?
I think it was #1 that weekend. But like I said, like Skyfall came out the next week, so it's. But I think it's
a different market than Skyfall, though.
But it was the number. It was animated film. I think it broke some records. Maybe for Disney Studios or it broke some kind of record. It's done really, really well, and it should, and it'll probably do really well on DVD and Blu-ray.
I feel like it's going to do actually really well on DVD and Blu-ray too.
Absolutely, because I'm going to buy a copy. I mean,
because this is a time of year where a lot of movies are coming out, so maybe I didn't get to theater to go see Wreck-It Ralph, and but overall I think it was great. I think the guys that created the film really did a good job just with the details and
it didn't treat the viewers like they were stupid. And it didn't talk down to like gamers. It didn't talk down to like regular people. It just assumed you kind of
pleased
understood
everyone.
Things. Yeah, and it had Hubert. How could you not like Hubert?
Right.
And not only did it have Hubert, but it had him in like a broken down.
He was a hobo, man. Hobo
Which made that
Hubert.
even more awesome. And that was I
Poor
also like
bastard.
that too, where they had like the out of service or out of order screen. They can like see it from in the game. Like that was just really neat. Like that whole concept to me.
Well, yeah, I think
really
that's great because that's one of those things, and that's the thing that Toy Story does real well is they take like these things like broken toys, going to get repairs, like, and they take these concepts and they flip them as like these big story moments. And then how many times do you go to the arcade and like, oh damn, this I can't play this game, it's down, and you have that out of order sign.
How many times do I go to an arcade? Let me see.
Back in the day, but like, and I like that they took that concept and you're just like, oh no, out of order. I thought that was a really cool like. Oh, I wonder if that's what it would look like.
You know what is hilarious though, because that is like the biggest stretch in the movie to me is just there being an arcade. Because I bet a lot of the kids who went and saw the movie have never stepped foot in an arcade and never will.
Maybe it's just you think it's just because like we live around here. They have a new Quarters place opening up.
Everything's closing down. All those arcades closed down.
Think so?
Quarters is going to be
like a
bowling
bar,
alley,
a restaurant,
bar, laser tag with an arcade.
Oh.
But yeah, come on,
that's stupid.
Go Quarters.
That's why I stay home and play Galaga. They should have put the Galaga theme song in that movie.
I don't know. Anyways, go see Wreck-It Ralph if you haven't. I think it's a good. Go see it in theaters. I know support. I mean,
see it in 3D.
I didn't see it in 3D.
Don't.
So I have no. I don't know.
Don't do that.
It looked like some of the race scenes might have looked interesting.
Sugar Rush, I actually liked Sugar Rush. I wish there was a Sugar Rush game. Like the Wreck-It Ralph game kind of sucks, but the Sugar Rush thing was just hilarious to me. Really, the have some candy thing was like really good.
It's like a 9-year-old girl's Hydro Thunder kind of.
Yeah, and it was like, but it was like so intense in the way that a game called Sugar Rush would be. That they just had all that so right. Like, his little go-kart that, like, was the throne room, and he pulls up in his little chair. And, like, just, it's like, there are so many stupid things. Like, the
so, hold on, let's go create a cart, and then you had to, like, go through the process and pick your types, and, yeah.
So good. So much better than most things.
Turbo-tastic!
Yeah, that was it. Anyways, yeah, go see it. Try to go see it in theaters. You know, you want to support something like this, I feel like. Let them know that they do have a community that does care, and they do like quality. And let us know if you like Wreck-It Ralph. Did you like it? If not, why? Anybody have anything else they want to add?
Nope.
No, Wreck-It Ralph was awesome.
No, and let me say this. Even if you don't like, you know, we're approaching this because we played video games our whole lives, and we play them now, and some we're interested in. So that was a big part to us. But I feel like you could not be into games and still very much enjoy the movie. Mm-hmm. It's got a good story. It's still
and I feel
funny.
Like it's a good family movie too, though. Like you can take your kids to see the movie,
and it's not one of those family movies. Like it's a family movie, but it's actually got like a lot of hidden adult humor. Like there was none of that. I mean, it was a good.
It was just smart humor. It was just smart humor and smart writing. Like that's really what they were doing. Yeah. And it wasn't even like pop culture humor or something like that. It was just good.
I thought it had great characters, well developed characters. So yeah, go see it. It's a good animated film. Regardless of how old you are, if you enjoy happy, fun, really good things, then go see it. And like I said, if you saw it,
I watched it despite that.
I know Neil was like slapping his face the whole time, like trying to keep a smile off. Like
it's true.
Don't feel anything.
This is not
Neil.
Bringing me joy.
Don't feel anything, Neil. Don't feel anything, Neil. Anyways, yeah, let us know what you thought if you saw it, whether you liked it, didn't like it, what you liked, what you thought, what was your favorite moments. So yeah, anyways, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we were going to be talking about Skyfall. Talk about Wreck-It Ralph, Halo, Grand Theft Auto trailer. And now we're going to talk about Skyfall, the newest James Bond movie.
Bond.
Starring Daniel Craig,
James Bond,
Judi Dench, Javier Bardem, and some other people. Directed by Sam Mendes. I don't know.
That fake French Asian chick.
Yeah, I don't know what her name is.
It's French, though.
She was sexy.
She was French.
Yeah. I was like, I can't pinpoint her. I can't pinpoint what she is.
She's French.
She did a great job for all 10 minutes she was in the movie.
By the way,
Javier Bardem did too.
That,
and so did Javier Bardem.
Yeah. By the way, there's going to be a lot of spoilers here. So if you haven't seen the movie, it'd probably be best for you to not listen because we've already put one spoiler out there. So here we go. We're going to
blow James Bond's cover. He's actually Daniel Craig.
I was about to say, actually, I don't think James Bond is much of a cover watching that movie, actually. Put that in the what the fuck category because I don't really understand that. But
I don't think he cares. All right, so let's start. I mean, we can go in detail with a bunch of little things, but overall, Neil, did you enjoy the movie?
I enjoyed the movie.
Andrew, overall, did you enjoy the movie?
I enjoyed the movie as well.
The movie before that, though, whatever.
Quantum of Solace.
That was rough.
Casino
Royale was good.
I really like Casino Royale.
Casino Royale was amazing.
But I'd heard so much negative stuff that I just didn't go out to see.
You know, I saw Quantum of Solace at the We saw Quantum of Solace the midnight it came out, and I have not seen it since then.
Okay.
I thought the end was cool when he was fighting with the axe, but other than that,
we gotta watch James Bond together through the good times and the really bad times.
Yeah,
like Quantum of Solace.
I think Quantum of Solace, the plot was like he wanted to make water in the middle of the desert or something. I think
something
like
about oil.
That sounds good. But...
Yeah, I mean, really,
I
really
don't
know. Anyways, all right. So yeah, Skyfall, definitely pretty dark film.
Yeah,
it's a really dark film. In fact, I would say this is maybe the darkest James Bond that I've seen. I'm trying to think of one that I thought was equally just as.
I guess, but I feel like this is more of like the time that we're in now with certain movies that everything is kind of dark. So yeah, I think you're right.
What okay, well I guess we'll start with Andrew, what were some of the things that you liked about the movie besides all the scenes with Daniel Craig with no shirt on? And his sexy, appealing blue eyes.
Well, number one would have to be Javier Bardem's performance, and just his portrayal of that character was like the thing I was most blown away by was that, and the amazing
great Joker. Oh, I'm sorry, we're talking about Skyfall. I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah. He kind of reminded me of Nicolas Cage the whole time. He just looked like him. I don't know why. He looked kind of.
I like the little mouthpiece thing.
That was
cool.
weird.
That was awesome. Because you always hear the stuff about the break your tooth open to get the cyanide capsule and kill yourself instantly, but you never would have thought that. Holy crap! One time it doesn't work, and that's what happens. That was interesting. I really like that, and of course the cinematography. I guess Josh wants to talk about that, but that was amazing.
I mean, I can.
You can. So that's Josh's thing, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. The plot kind of made. I mean, it made sense. I guess.
It was what
Neil,
it was.
Neil can talk about that. It was what it was. It was an awesome throwback. A great salute for 50 years of James Bond.
50 years, a lot of James
Bond. An
Bond.
Excellent salute to it. Had a very old school feel to it. Kind of like how Halo 4 feels like the first Halo. Skyfall feels like a classic James Bond film, and it was done really well. It
does feel like a more classic James Bond film than even Casino Royale.
Compared to Casino Royale, right?
Yeah. Or even the Pierce Brosnan films. It feels, and I actually don't dislike.
It felt like a Sean Connery.
It felt like one of those, the good ones.
That's it. Next.
Neil, what were some of the things you liked about it?
I actually really liked the opening song by Adele.
Oh, I
really did like that song.
I think that credit sequence was one of my favorite credit sequences I've seen in a while.
They always do good ones. Yeah. Like, the Bond ones are always good to me, and they always get a really cool, memorable song. Like, I remember a lot of their songs. Yeah. But that one just was done really, 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 really well.
Hits you, man. It leaves you in a dark place.
I had it spoiled for me, like, the scene of him getting shot, of that happening.
By watching the trailer?
I played the demo of the new crappy
Legends.
007
game,
Legends?
And that's
in
how,
there?
So when he gets shot, when he's underwater, that's how the whole memory of all the Bond movies
I knew it was a memory trigger.
Yeah, it's horrible. But but I absolutely, from the very opening of when he walks out, I like the way that was all, the way they showed that. But the opening sequence of the
opening chase scene,
the freaking motorbikes on top of the roofs was just so good to me.
Yeah,
in that
that was
bad
badass.
shit doesn't make any sense, but it's amazing. And they pop
through. I need to jump on the top of this train, so I'm going to run my bike into the wall.
Yeah, run my bike off and
fly
off.
Exactly.
I was like, oh no, or I'm gonna get this. What is it? What are those things called?
Crane.
The crane. Yeah, get the crane.
The crane.
While I'm getting shot at, and move it over and smash it into the
conveniently placed crane and VW Beetles.
Or the conveniently
that was the most random train.
Or the conveniently placed chain that's just laying here on top of the speeding train. But it's cool. We're gonna fight with it.
But other than that, I think I just really liked a lot of the little throwback lines. Like I liked the the not having to say the shaken not stirred, but that was done so well. Yeah. And other than that, I don't know. I liked all the majority of the throwbacks, and
the best throwback.
I like the action sequences. So.
The car
part was pretty.
That was the best throwback.
That was pretty awesome.
And then the machine guns coming out the front. I was like, oh god.
Oh yeah.
Old school. That was for Goldfinger. I think.
No, it's from a while back.
Yeah, that was Goldfinger. They hadn't shown that.
You have my permission to.
Yeah. What about you, Josh?
I like.
Probably like the cinematography or something.
I did like the cinematography. The guy that shot it, the DP, the cinematographer, is probably one of the best in the industry, and I would say he is the best.
Did he do?
Beast.
He does almost all of the Coen Brothers stuff. So he did No Country for Old Men. Yeah. He did Doubt. He did the Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford, which is a good looking movie. That really is like watching a painting, and he's just done a lot of different things. The lighting and at the end with the fire, that really deep orange. Mm-hmm. Just a lot of the colors, the way they did that. I really enjoyed. Obviously, I enjoyed Javier Bardem's performance. Holy cow!
Yeah,
just knocking it out of the park.
He was gay, right?
I think he was.
Or was he just messing with James Bond?
No, I think he was just. I think he was just
he was messing
nuts. It was part of this whole. I just didn't care about.
I think he was probably asexual.
But that scene was so good with Bond. That was a scene that Bond hasn't been in before that I've seen. And the way
who says it's my first time?
Right.
It was so a Bond thing, and that was so good. Oh.
I felt like in that scene, to me, people were was he gay? I feel like this character's sexuality is a very trivial issue with this character. Yeah. It's just
everything
whatever.
else. That wasn't the point. Yeah,
right. That wasn't. I really liked how much of a character M was in this movie. Because usually she's there, she cusses at Bond, she fusses at him, she doesn't do... But
she does it so well in British.
Yes, Judi Dench is just so good. I mean, there were several lines in this that I just thought...
Oh, she got a lot of the good lines.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then she's like... You know, she's like, he's like, I guess I'll find a motel. She's like, well, you're bloody well not staying here. And just random things like that I thought.
Well, she has a presence too. Like, I guess it's coming from all of her, like, theater stuff. She just has that presence when she's on the screen where you're just you believe that.
Yeah. And of course, I thought like the action was done from. I mean, none of this shaky cam crap.
Now,
like.
While you're positively talking about how great the action was, did you like the really, really dark action sequences? Like, I know those might have been throwbacks to old Bonds, too, like when they had some stuff at night. But some of the scenes, I felt that they were too dark for me to see what was going on.
Which one specifically?
The first time, like, I liked the whole silhouette thing they were doing in Shanghai.
Oh, dude, in the skyscraper?
I liked
that. Was with the gun going off occasionally.
But there are some parts in there that I couldn't really make out what was going on because of the lighting. And... at the end, when they're outside in the dark, there are specific scenes. I'm trying to recall. I mean, I only saw the movie once.
Yeah.
I'm trying to recall what happened, but I remember not being able to see just what was going on screen. Like, it was too dark for me.
The end didn't bother me. I think, I had trouble, like, keeping a frame of reference, like, where Bond... in the sniper scene, where Bond was in relation to what was going on. But I think that once he actually got in the room... And I was a little confused, and we can talk about those more like issues we have with the film. I was definitely a little confused as to why he waited for him to even shoot the guy. Yeah. Like, why let him shoot the guy? Like,
you mean in the sky, in the actual build? Yeah. No, but me too, because I get that. No, I'm talking about that. I get that he was trying to see who the boss was.
Right.
But that doesn't make any sense. Like, what he did doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And it just happened that the reason he found out who the boss was because the guy had a casino token inside of the sniper rifle case. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, it just didn't make any sense.
Well, I think that to me was that was his payment for sniping. So when Bond showed up,
but why would he have had that?
It could have been that they gave him the rifle and they included
which they did, but it just seemed really convenient that Bond not knowing any of that.
Right. And I think there's definitely
it's a Bond movie.
I mean, that was definitely one of the
I guess
several things.
And then she was.
I guess the reason
exactly.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I guess the reason why they put the token in the
because
gun.
China paid them a lot of money to have that. Yeah. Scene shot.
Well, I mean, like, you gotta think of it like if they just straight up paid him cash, like before he even shot the guy, he would take off.
I get that.
Okay.
I'm talking about Bond knowing that, not like that being silly.
I don't think Bond knew that. I think that was the only lead that Bond had.
Yeah, that was the lead. That was the point of the scene was to find that. He's like, oh, well, I guess I better go check this place out.
Again, why did he let the guy shoot the guy?
I don't know.
That's the part that
maybe he didn't want to like.
And then the question was, like, who was the guy? But I think following that scene, there's a picture of M on the computer with an Asian guy, and I think that's who that was.
Yeah, that was actually part of the thing. Yeah, you could be right. I mean, I have to see it again.
I definitely could see it twice.
Yeah. But overall,
overall, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think what else is really stood out. I mean, yeah, like the camera work, all that stuff. I mean, I think I really, really enjoy Daniel Craig as Bond.
Hot.
I think he makes a great Bond. I thought in this one usually Bond is a very cold, kind of collected person, and in this one I thought that his character was able to have a little bit more range with the stuff that he was doing, with the kind of stuff that he was feeling. I loved, what's his character, the guy at the end who he found in Skyfall?
The Scottish guy?
Yeah, the gamekeeper.
The Scottish guy?
Oh, yeah, I thought, the line where he shoots the guy and he says, "Welcome to Scotland," was my favorite line of the whole movie.
I didn't like that whole thing.
Like, you mean Home Alone?
Yes.
James Bond Home Alone?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the part I didn't like. Now, I liked the, bag of shit in a light bulb that you turn on. I like that.
It was like an IRA, Irish Republican Army nail bomb
But I didn't like Skyfall. Like, I didn't like the whole conceit of him going back to, like, his family's house. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't like all of that. Mm-hmm. Even if it gives some type of character to Bond, or whatever they were doing there, I don't think that is necessary.
Yeah.
And I didn't really like it.
I don't understand why they felt like I mean, I get why they felt like they needed to bring him to Skyfall, but I felt like maybe that scene could have happened anywhere. But I didn't have a problem with him being like, all right, we're going to pull this guy away from everybody because he's obviously willing to just slaughter people
and that
to
makes
get to him.
It's just the backstory of Bond with family and the fact that his name is really James Bond that just is like a little stretch of too much for me.
Right.
I didn't really like that.
I mean, I didn't like, I like that whole scene, except I feel like the helicopter going into the house was probably a little much.
It's like you were okay with the.
There must have been like C4 explosives onto that heli. That was a huge explosion.
The train made more sense to me because he rigged it.
I thought about you when because we both thought the train thing was kind of
silly
in
in
the
the trailer.
Yeah.
But in the movie, I was like, oh. Well, somehow they just made me rationalize that this is
why this
in the moment. You're like, oh, okay.
Not that that whole scene wasn't ridiculous though.
Right.
That Bond's like shooting at him. He's like, hey, I got you. And the dude's like, oh, here's my present.
That was pretty awesome.
The thing
that was tense though. That whole thing with him going up there to go blast that courtroom.
Yeah.
Love that scene.
Courtroom shooting.
I also like that I like Ray Fiennes' character where at first you think he's just some suit, and then he just like no. And then he just,
suit or part of the bad guy and thing in general.
Right.
Maybe part of that.
Like he's
always got that sinister look to him.
He's a douche automatically.
Right.
I mean, he's Voldemort. Like,
right,
like I don't know why he needed to wait for
pull out his wand.
Cadavra, Javier Bardem, and in the movie. I also, I mean, Javier Bardem when they introduced his character, where he's just comes down the elevator and he just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Just and then the way he with his little sound effects, and then it was just. Fantastic. And then, of course, they did the, they have this character, you have this girl, that was another thing that I thought was too much, was whenever she's in the shower and he just walks into the shower.
No, that's a Bond thing.
That's very,
that was almost, but that was way too, that was too much.
That was like Bond thing all around. Like, he just
I laughed, but in a movie that's so, like,
really
realistic, like
so that was too unrealistic for you. But
not unrealistic. It was just too. It was just too like. It was almost like too much.
Speaking of too much, there are two things in the movie that legitimately bothered me. The first thing that bothered me was outside of the racist, ridiculous, stereotypical Asian casino that we go in the four-wheel boat on. The goddamn man-eating dragon was the most like. Are you serious?
And then he jumped off the back of one.
That actually made me laugh.
I was like, did this just happen? Like, I was literally watching it, like, and it drags him away, like, it pulls him into its little tunnel. And everybody's just going gambling, like...
Everybody going about their business was
man-eating dragons underneath this casino right here. And that was like...
Even James Bond was like, what the hell
Komodo
is that?
dragons are not, like...
Man-eating. But
they will mess people up.
There's a big guy. Yeah. That was like Austin Powers type of ridiculous to me. That I was like, my sister. But it was bad CG.
That it was.
And that I felt like didn't belong in the movie.
Right.
Because it could have, and that was the part, even more distracting than that, the fact that it was a man-eating dragon.
But I think that didn't bother me as much because when he's getting lifted over the shoulder and Bond sees the dragon, he looks at it like
points his fingers like
he's pointing at it.
He's like to me he almost acknowledged that this is an incredibly what is happening is ridiculous.
Why is that?
That was strictly for effect, and I laughed whenever he jumped on the dragon, dropped off the dragon's back to get back.
Oh,
I thought that was
hilarious.
That was the best. But getting back to French Asian girl.
They built her up like, she's going to be a character.
I liked her.
And then he just kills her.
Yep.
Just kills
her.
her.
I mean, I think James Bond's penis is like cursed. Because once he has sex with a girl, like, she can die. Because there's no point of her.
I love the way they never talked about it again, never referenced it again.
Right.
Because it was just one of those things.
It was.
And Bond knew
it was a big deal.
He like hesitated, but not really beyond like normal hesitation of what you would expect of a human being. Right. But it was like in any other movie, he would have saved that chick anyway. You know what I mean? That would have happened.
Right.
And I just liked the way they did that whole scene. And it was like, because you learned about her being like they did the whole sex slave thing. They talked about all that. They did all that with your character, and then just
the thing.
And he's like, I win.
The thing that I think is interesting is a lot of times I feel like to have a good antagonist or to have a creepy or whatever, like you have to have them do things that make you really go, man. Depending on the kind of antagonist you want to have, where you have to say, man. And a lot of times I've just seen so much ridiculous stuff that it doesn't really get me.
Well, it's the same way like we talked about the Batman movies to death, that they did that with the Joker, or even with Bane, like how they kept trying to show you, this guy is smarter than Batman.
Right.
They did a lot of that type of stuff with this character, showing that he's smarter than you.
Rodriguez?
He's smarter than MI6. He's you know what I mean?
Silva.
Yeah, I like the way they did that.
And I thought the way they did it was clever. It was a slow build up. You're like, something's going on here. We don't know what. And then the fact that like,
but it wasn't as slow as The Dark Knight Rises.
No. And then and then the fact that he had Bond like with the gun, and then I just thought it was a really good scene. He's like, okay, done. Just you think the guy's gonna get a drink, but then he puts it on her head, and I just thought it was, and you're just like, this guy is serious, and it wasn't like a super cheesy pop pop, whatever. It was just like, this guy's serious.
And then Bond like whoops some ass when he like shoots everybody right after that, and hits them on target every time. But how did you feel about Q?
I liked Q. Okay. For some reason, I really liked his voice.
Was he too hipster for you, Neil?
He was too Doctor Who wannabe hipster for me.
Yeah, it was a little Doctor Who-ish.
It really was. But it didn't. It's not that it.
But to me, it was appropriate with the
theme of the story and Bond. I get it now. Like I liked it, and I like what they did with him. And he got outsmarted. Kind of. And like, yeah.
I mean, he's new. He's like, oh shit.
Yeah, but he's like, I invented this, so there's only like 4 people who,
But the fact that like Bond's like, all right, this Q has to, this intelligent or whatever. It's like, oh, you're a kid.
Yeah, and he played into that whole, getting too old for it. And I liked the way they did that throughout the whole.
But for some reason, I just really liked his. I don't know what it was about his voice.
Really had a man crush on his voice.
I just had a man crush on his voice. A major man crush on his voice.
Interesting.
So I have the thing that really, really bothered me more than anything else in this entire film. At first, like I was, the thing with, and it didn't happen as much in this movie because with some of these like spy espionage films, some of the details are lost on me the first time, so I usually have to go back. And I felt like this was a pretty straightforward story, so it wasn't as, the details weren't as complicated as some of the other ones. But the thing that truly bothered me was how similar I felt Javier Bardem was to the Joker, almost to where there were things from The Dark Knight that they literally ripped out of that script and placed into that movie. And I will supply a list if you would like me to.
I didn't think about that while I was watching it. Me.
Right.
But I can totally, when you're saying that,
right,
that makes sense. But if you're going to make a villain for a movie that you want to be successful, that seems like a pretty good place.
But it was all the way down to even like dressing up like a cop,
as a cop, and
shooting a public official at a public
in a police car,
and even getting in the police car and dropping the audio while you're in the police car driving away. The physical disfigure,
the voiceover,
and then like the fact that he's maniac, he's insane, but he never loses his cool, and his presentation is always theatrical. And it was all these things to where I was just like, it was like they literally ripped it straight out of The Dark Knight. Yeah. But that bothered me tremendously. The first time. The second time,
a lot of those character traits like were shared between a lot of classic James Bond villains too. So I mean, you can compare that as well.
Villain,
it just happens to be, I guess, character trait wise,
just on film,
sort of coincidental compared to the Joker, because he can also be compared to those old Bond villains. But plot wise, dressing up as a police officer and shooting, a public servant in front of a lot of people is just,
and then causing
controlled chaos.
Essentially causing controlled chaos.
Right.
And then like with the train, and then with the MI6 building, like, and that was just like, I was like, come on, guys, come on, guys.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's something that my roommate Jessica would probably slap me if I didn't bring up, because I actually thought this while watching the movie, but she gave me a lot more examples. The one thing that really that brought to her attention that she noticed was like this anti-feminine type thing that was going on in the movie, which is typical with some of the Bond stuff anyway, because it is like a big guy movie.
Right.
But you notice that every woman was either shot, dead, or demoted to some type of other position or out of their position all around the whole entire movie, and it was just something she had noticed, like how the woman was being knocked out.
You know what's sad? You know what's sad about the statement she just made? As true as that is, I feel like this was by far this was probably the least Bond movie,
which she said too.
Right.
But it's still like, if you look at all that stuff,
it feels a womanizer.
Like, you're either dead. He slept with all, or you tried to sleep with all of them too, and then like I'll talk about this. My other second thing that I disliked was the whole entire fucking Moneypenny thing in general. I didn't like that. I didn't like her character. I didn't like that she was an agent that was left in the field that was sniping with Bond, and then becomes a secretary in the MI6 office. And I didn't bother me because
I mean they had to, like, she explained, like, they had to do that, like, even though they know she belongs on the field, like,
they had to have
because she shot Bond
in the movie. Period.
Yeah, they did because of the ending. They did.
It was like the Batman Robin ending thing,
right? So
I mean, but to me, but the thing is, like, if they're going to continue this franchise, it's like, well, we need to start introducing these characters because there wasn't a Q in Quantum of Solace. I don't think there hasn't been a Moneypenny up until this point.
Correct.
And these characters are obviously like instrumental to Bond.
Yeah, you can tell they're bringing Daniel Craig to the classic James Bond, like with Q, Moneypenny, and M.
I also knew
him being a man.
I also knew that she was Moneypenny before I watched the movie.
Oh, did you?
I had heard something about that online, so
I didn't even think about it. So when
I didn't
think
about it either.
Dumb.
But to me, it was just like, I get why they're doing it. So the other thing,
I like the actress though.
But here's another thing that we were talking about, and it wasn't necessarily something that I felt the film did wrong. It was just maybe I would have liked it another way. So you're talking about women getting shot. So obviously, listening to this point, you don't care. But major plot spoiler: M gets killed, which totally threw me off.
Right.
Because it was M, and I did not expect M to get killed. But we were talking about how, like, she was probably like, okay, after this one I'm done, you know. But the whole idea, the whole point of Silva was to kill M, which I thought was kind of a small-minded goal for a Bond villain. But whatever, that's fine. Like, it's the way that the movie wanted. That was the story that they wanted to go with. And
well,
so
not just to kill her though, it was like, you know, to make her feel like the worst person in the and then kill her.
Right. And so it's like, so by killing her, does he not win?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, that's it's the same thing as the Joker stuff. I thought about that too when you mentioned that, because in the end, Bond did fail.
Right.
Like, what he was doing, even that wasn't like, you know, his official. What he was doing was trying to protect her, and he fails in the end.
Right. And so, but to me, it's like, do you think it worked better that way, or if she would have lived and then retired, and then he would have took over? Like, I feel like that would have been a more just a crowd-pleasing ending, but do you think the way that it is, and seeing it a second time, I was like, well, maybe.
You're really making me feel like they were jacking some stuff from the Batman movie now, like, now that I keep thinking
stuff like
that. Now I'm actually seeing that a lot more, like what you're saying, because, like, now, like, that really is, I mean, that, to me, she dies, and like you said, like, the villain still won.
Right.
You know. For that knife game to the back.
Well, whenever he laid down the thing, I was like, oh, yeah, it's happening. It's happening. I tell you what that I thought was impressive, and I don't usually with sub characters, I don't feel that it's hard to kind of like really like, oh, I care if this person dies or not. But whenever they're shooting it out at the end, and I still don't remember his name. Like, whenever he started dropping his shotgun shells, he got really nervous, and I thought that he was about to get blown through.
Yeah.
I genuinely felt like I was like,
oh,
I was really, really sad.
This old dude's about to get blasted.
How about that part where Bond was like gonna blow up his whole house, and then he waited in the tunnel for the explosion to happen before he wanted to
so he could just have a good
is
run.
Is that how explosions work, by the way? Like, I know I've seen it in a lot of movies, but like, if you jump to the right and it's coming down a tunnel, will you not get fried? Like, does fire not?
Fire doesn't take turns, I guess.
I always wonder that. I'm like,
I think it would have completely filled up every crevice in that tunnel if it were straight down.
What about how Bond shoots the ice to fall into the water?
That was so awesome. That was awesome.
And then they struggle underwater for what seems like an eternity.
Chokes a dude out underwater.
Not trying to get to the top. They're like, I'm going to kill each other.
And then he lights a flare underwater.
And shoots it up to find his way out, I guess. Or how about, how stupid were they? This is the head of fucking MI6. Lets the dude shine a flashlight to find out where they were going.
Oh, I know.
When they're in pitch darkness. Yeah, that kind of.
But the thing is, though, like, out of all this, like, as crazy as a lot of that stuff is, like, ultimately none of it really took away from the movie for me because
it's a Bond movie.
Because it's a Bond movie, and I just feel like as a Bond movie, you go, and even the shower thing, which I thought was a little too much, it really didn't bother me that much because it's a Bond movie. And so I feel like when you go to see a Bond movie, you just expect certain things.
Yeah.
And I felt like this movie just did...
It did more than I expected, like I said, because it was a long movie, and it felt like it used the time wisely. And
the second time, it felt shorter, actually, honestly.
You saw it twice?
Yeah, I went and saw it again on Friday.
It didn't waste time, and I saw it at my free tickets to, what do you call that?
Paradise?
No, the Perkins Row. I saw it at their XD theater.
Oh.
That was piece of shit.
Really? It couldn't have been worse than the IMAX.
Yeah, IMAX was kind of a piece of shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
What do you mean, like for that?
Yeah.
It just didn't use anything really, like
Seeing it both, and the screen goes whoop, like a little whoop in the top. It was kind of distracting to me, like it kind of like a little bubble.
IMAX before? Or
No.
I've seen they've done some really good screens.
I'm sure like Spider-Man was awesome in IMAX.
Yeah, I saw Avengers and stuff.
I think I probably would enjoy it more like on a regular screen.
Now, a real IMAX is like, I don't know if you've ever seen a movie at a real
IMAX. I've been to a real one.
Those are like
that surrounds the whole room.
I feel like
still mad I never saw the Dark
but that's the thing is because with IMAX screens it kind of curls around the side, and this because it immerses you. Where this is like, let's curl our screens on the side a little bit. It's just going to be annoying, but whatever.
Really good about that actual screen there is the sound system they use in those IMAX theaters is really, 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 really
I can definitely tell the difference in the sound.
That one's like
when something like when they first turned the sound system on, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, that sound it's really, really good.
Yeah. But strangely enough, when I went and saw Avengers for the first time, this in a normal theater, it was so loud that like my seats were like rumbling, and I was like, "This is awesome!" It added so much to the whole like smashing things.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, like I felt like this was a tremendous Bond film.
Do you feel like it was better than the last Batman movie that came out, Josh?
Yes, without even blinking an eye. Yes.
He just blinked.
What about you, Andrew?
I don't even want to answer that question, man. Don't make me answer that.
Do you think the opening was better? That's what me and Josh actually talked about.
Better than what?
The opening to the Dark Knight Rises.
I like the opening of Dark Knight Rises was kind of shitty, but
it was a lot of shit.
I keep comparing. I don't know. I don't compare the opening to Dark Knight Rises. I compared it to the opening of Casino Royale,
which it was not as good as.
Which wasn't as good as the Casino Royale.
But there are very few action beginnings.
I've only seen Casino Royale once.
We were talking about like the crazy parkour
during the construction site.
Yeah. I mean, there was very few
like a car
action
chase, like
scenes that are as good as that.
It was awesome. But
and then I love that because I watched it. We went and saw it Wednesday night, and I watched Casino Royale on Monday.
Yeah.
And just watching the guy that he was chasing do this crazy parkour when Bond would just like take a steamer and just like go through a wall,
right?
And then just it was funny on top of being really cool.
And this movie still did that stuff though, where I feel like it was being funny in a way that was just like
and I also think it was really cool. And I knew that something happened to him, but I feel like just at the beginning of the movie we're gonna shoot James Bond. Yeah, I thought that was a little like
dude. I was like. I don't know where the story's going from here. Like I was like, holy shit!
Also,
he just got shot and fell off a bridge. How did he not die from the impact?
Also, the scene where he's drinking the alcohol with the scorpion on his hand.
Oh, that was so badass. Josh leaned over to me. He's like, "We need to do that at our next event, our next drinking party."
That was pretty scary.
When he gets the scorpion.
That was pretty badass. Well, I like how he was just chilling though. Like he was like,
yeah,
he's gonna chill for a while.
He's like, I'm gonna let it not bite me, but I'm gonna sit here and still drink my drink.
Have sex with a girl, drink alcohol with scorpion on my hand.
Basically, be James Bond.
And then I like how they did like when he was taking the test, how like, his interview with the psychologist person and whatever, and they're doing the word associations and everything like that. That was pretty funny.
Bitch.
That was pretty good. When he did M.
And then I really liked how he's like, we can just later. He's like, that's fine. And they walk out of the room, and he just like collapses.
Oh yeah,
and
he didn't like. I get that. Like he was, doing all those workouts and stuff, and he didn't want to, show any other guys in the room. I'm getting too old for this shit. This is actually physically exhausting. I got that. That was cool.
Too old for this shit.
Yeah,
they haven't
Danny Glover
coming out.
Who knows?
I hope not.
They were talking about it. Like that would just be. I mean, they were already making "I'm old" jokes. As Lethal, as
in the first one,
in the first one, his whole thing was that Danny Glover was old. So I can only imagine, since it's Murtaugh and what's Mel Gibson's name? Riggs. Like now that Riggs would be the old one.
Sound like 80s names.
Riggs, Murtaugh. Yeah, no, pretty badass. Rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah, but anyways, I thought Skyfall was great. I could go on with like how it looked and.
Do you want to say it was better than just altogether? Yeah.
Better than Casino Royale?
Do you think it was better than Casino Royale?
I don't know. I feel like
that's
they're
hard.
almost
That's hard. That's really
I feel like
hard.
they're almost kind of apples and oranges.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to answer that question.
I feel like the fact that Casino Royale has upwards of a 45-minute poker scene that's really tense and interesting.
A 45-minute poker scene goes by like that. It's like
poker, kill some guys. Yeah. Poker, get poisoned. Poker, it's gonna go kill everything. Get turned around.
It's like in Vertigo. I think he's driving around. I think it's for like 30 minutes of the movie. He's driving around in a car, but like it goes by like that, just the way it's directed, and, like the sound and stuff. You're just like, wait, that was like half an hour. What? It felt like 5 minutes. It's crazy.
So I definitely feel like it's kind of. I felt like it was as good. I felt like there were things this film. I mean, for the things that I felt like Casino Royale did better. Yeah. I feel like there are things that Skyfall. Yeah. Did better.
I enjoy Casino Royale for these things. I enjoy Skyfall for these things. Right.
And
which is perfect because there's a shitload of James Bond movies in existence. You need to enjoy each and every one for their specific things they bring to the table.
I do think there's still a lot of movies that I haven't seen this year, and there's a lot of movies coming out. But I do think that Skyfall is the best looking movie that I have seen this year, and it's Oscar's ridiculous to begin with, but it's a shame that Roger Deakins hasn't won yet. And I feel like even though it's a Bond movie, which is I think how he actually
probably won't. Yeah, but yeah.
That's I think at the beginning, Tim is like, "You want to do this?" He's like, "It's a Bond movie," and he was like, "No. Look, we have a lot of creative liberties with this, and it's probably why he won't win, but he did a great job." And I was watching an interview with Sam Mendes, and they're like, "Do you want to do? Are you now interested to do another Bond movie?" He's like, "Well, I don't really know." He's like, "Because everything that I wanted to do in a Bond movie, I did with this movie." And he's like, and I feel like the thing about these franchises, the thing that's cool about them is that every movie you see someone else's interpretation. And I think whoever follows up Skyfall has their work very much cut out for them.
Yeah. It's probably going to suck like every other Bond movie does.
Guillermo del Toro's going to do the next one.
Maybe. Bond fights like a demon or something with eyeballs in its hands. Anyway, all right. So definitely go see Skyfall. You don't have, even if you've never seen another Bond movie, you don't. I mean, this is like some of the shaking and stirred stuff.
It
the
wouldn't
cars.
Matter.
I mean, it doesn't.
You'll get it.
There's a few chuckles
you won't feel like you wouldn't get it. It just,
right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's just a few. It's just a
You'll
few
get
chuckles.
That's an old Bond car.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Yeah.
But other than that,
from the way everybody in the theater goes, "Ooh shit!
Yeah.
Ooh shit!"
And I definitely, just definitely highly recommend it. Probably, it's hard to think of all the movies I've seen this year. So, but I would definitely say it's one of the better ones I've seen this year so far.
Way better than Cloud Atlas because that movie sucks.
I didn't see Cloud Atlas. I did, however, go see Perks of a Wallflower and very much enjoyed it.
That movie was awesome. In terms of making you feel that awkwardness of youth, it's just like, hey, remember that? That is what this was like.
Yes.
And everything sucked when you were that. And you might forget it now, how that feeling is, but this movie's going to remind you real quick that the world's actually kind of messed up. And especially for kids, it's really messed up. And you just forget about a lot of that.
So go see that. That's a great movie. I know it's kind of random to mention that, but that was a good movie. So yeah, did you have anything in closing that you wanted to say, Andrew?
No, go see Skyfall, and if you've already seen it, go see it twice. That's what I'm going to do.
And go see it in the theaters.
Yeah, definitely.
Very much in theaters.
Wreck-It Ralph, even, you can wait to get that on DVD. Supporting theaters is good, but if you got to choose between those two, go see Skyfall.
Very much a theater experience.
Buy the Skyfall ticket, go see Skyfall, sneak into Wreck-It Ralph.
And buy Halo 4 and don't buy Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Yes.
Did you want to talk about anything else?
No, I had some stuff, but we can talk about it next time we do it. There's just so many things that I've been playing and doing, but this podcast is long enough.
Cool. All right, guys. Let us know if you've seen Skyfall. Again, let us know what you thought about it. Did you like it? Did you not like it?
Is it better than The Dark Knight Rises?
Is it better than The Dark Knight Rises?
I know that's a toughie.
Maybe not.
For Josh.
No. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Let us know what you think. Again, any ideas, suggestions, things like that. We're always looking for criticisms. We're always looking forward to it. So thanks.
What I was gonna say was I can always talk about that Real Lives again.